Okay, so good morning. So we are going to be working on the corresponding parts. How can you prove corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent using our triangle congruence theorems? So we're going to be working with that. How can you prove corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent? I need to get it from pen. Using the triangle congruence theorems. Okay, so we're going to have, so the steps for this, everybody. So draw, mark on the picture, okay. Write all the givens in the proof. And then you're going to find any other congruent parts. You're going to name the congruence theorem, or shortcuts. And then we're going to use corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, okay, if we need to. If proof has you prove an angle or side, the angle or sides of the triangle is congruent, then you'll need this, okay? So what this stands for, everybody, is congruent. So, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, we're going to use our corresponding theorems. Okay, that's theorems or shortcuts. Okay, and let's review, everybody. So, okay. So ways to find the parts, okay? So let's just review those. So ways the congruent parts, everybody. So for the sides, I'm just going to split this up. So for the sides, we can use the reflexive property. We can use the midpoint or the bisector. We also have for our quadrilaterals, okay? So we have, like, for squares, all the sides and all the angles are congruent. It's a regular polygon. For our rectangles, so all right angles and opposite sides are congruent. And then for our parallelogram, parallelogram. The opposite sides are parallel, and opposite sides are also congruent. Okay, so for parallelogram. And then we also have angles. So we have parallel lines. We have our corresponding angles. Our alternate interior and exterior. We also have our vertical. Okay, so specifically remember our bow ties. And then we also have, it might be bisect. So they can also be, our angles can also be bisected. Okay, let's do a couple proofs with this. Okay, so let's do one. So I'm going to do a couple. So I'm going to draw a parallelogram. Okay, and we have it M N O P. Okay, and then diagonally go across. Okay, so we are given, so we're going to do our statements and our reasons. Okay, so we are given that MN is congruent to side PO. We are given that MP is congruent to side NO, NO. That is given. I'm going to mark it on the diagram. So we already have it marked. Okay, and then we have, remember, our shared side, everybody. So our shared side right here. Okay. So NP is congruent to PN, and that's by our reflexive property. Okay, and now we have all the sides are congruent, so we can use, so MNP is congruent to triangle OPN, okay, by our side, triangle congruence theorems and postulates, and then now we can prove that M is congruent to angle O, because the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Yeah. Okay. One more proof, everybody. Okay, so our statements and our reasons. So I'm going to draw my parallelogram over here. And we're going to label it ABC, ABCD. Okay, and we are given that AB, side AB is parallel to the side CD. That is given. And angle CBD is congruent to angle ADB. That is given. Okay, so we're going to mark it on here. So AB is going to BD, and then triangle CBD, so that's this one, is congruent to ADB. Okay, so these are congruent. Okay, so now we know, since these sides are parallel for these angles, right? Okay, those angles are also going to be congruent. So we're going to have, so angle ABD, so that's this one, is congruent to CDB. Okay, and those are because those are alternate interior angles. Okay, and then we also have our shared side. Okay. So a shared side right here. So BD is congruent to DB for our reflexive property. Okay, so now we have that triangle ADB is congruent to triangle CBD. Okay, and the reason for everybody is we have angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So we're going to use angle, side, angle. Okay, now we can prove that, because we need to prove this. Sorry, I should have written this earlier. We need to prove that BC is congruent to AD. Okay, so BC is congruent to AD because the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Yay! Okay, so we figured that out. Yay, we got this. Oh, I'm just going to put the verb up here too. Angle M is congruent to angle O. Okay, everybody, you got this.